Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings, my name is Ahmad Nasyirul Kholis. I'm from B class from English department in Islamic State University of Malang. And here I want to explain a book about that title is called Teacher Development by Robert F. McNerney. I don't know how to spell the name, but that's how it goes. Okay, and what this book, I haven't read all of this book yet, but I have done a few chapters, and I decided to divide it into 8 parts. The first chapter, the second, third, fourth, and the last chapter, the eighth chapter. Why? Because I think they are the most important chapter in this book, and I want to explain that to you. Like the first chapter of this book is emphasize that teacher have their own character, different background, abilities, or anything. So teacher development must be considered must be personalized. Sorry, teacher development must be personalized. Depends on the teacher itself. Because teacher is a person where they different one and another. So yeah, we have to know what kind of teacher is this, what kind of teacher is that. So yeah, basically we just find it first, and we have to know kind of teacher is kind of that teacher, and teach them teacher development by their own character. So any teacher has their own approach of teacher development. The second chapter is teacher tasks and behavior. So basically, teacher must have a planning what they will do on the class. Like in the first class, they will teach this material, and the second class they will teach that material, and so on and so on. And they have to build a great communication with the student, make the student comfortable or anything. So basically, a great teacher is those teacher who can a great teacher is not just a person who teach a material, but also a person who can make the student comfortable with the class. The third chapter is assessing behavior. Teacher behavior is key to professional development. So basically, teacher must be self-reflect on their own self. They have to open for feedback that come to them. Even the feedback comes from their own student, they have to hear it. They have to open for it. So they can be better by learning their own mistake. Like they have to fix their mistake, they have to fix their weakness, they have to apply their abilities in the class, so they will be better in the future. So yeah, they have to self-reflect their own self. Alright, for the fourth chapter of this book is teacher characteristic. Basically, it's similar with the first chapter, but it's kind of different. The fourth chapter is characteristic of each teacher. So each person obviously have their own characteristic. So teacher is a person. So a professional teacher, sometimes they can't make a warm atmosphere in the class. And also the other thing, a warm teacher, sometimes they can't be so serious to the student. So they have to know their characteristics, so they will guide the student how to learn the material, how to follow the class. Depends on the characteristics. So yeah, it's kind of same with the first chapter, but it's a bit different. The eighth chapter is challenges of teacher development. Teacher development isn't an easy stuff. It's not an easy stuff. Like we know, teaching is not easy. Sometimes we can say that we already understand this material, but if we have to teach person or even people in the class, we face some challenges. Even we understand the material, because we have to control the class. So teaching itself isn't easy, and developing it to make it more effective, to make teaching more, to make teaching better, is more harder. It's harder than teaching itself. So yeah, that's why they have to collect data. They have to prove the hypothesis is right or wrong. They have to collect. They have to research. They have to do this. They have to do that to make it teaching even better. And it's not an easy stuff, because teaching itself is hard, and then the teacher develop, the teacher educators, the one who teaches teacher, is obviously is harder than teaching student, than teach student. And yeah, that is the 8th chapter. Actually, they edit the data or anything in this books in the last chapter, but it's gonna be too long if I explain it in this video. So yeah, just mention it in this video. Right now, we're talking about relating the books to a real situation in the class. Okay, as I said before, teachers have their own characteristics, have their own abilities, they have their own weakness or anything, and also a student. Students have their weakness and abilities. They have a characteristic, and we as a teacher have to know that, of course, to make teaching more effective or anything. So it's relate one another. We not just have to know our characteristic, our weakness or anything. We also have to know the student characteristics. So yeah, it's relate one another. Okay, now we're talking how to apply what I've learned from this book to my own teaching. As a teacher in the future, I have to reflect on my method that I use in my class. So I have to try this method first and see is it effective or not. And also I have to be open to feedback from my students, because they are a person who I teach. So of course, if they have a feedback, it's basically what they want from me. So I have to be open to them. I have to be open to feedback from them. And the last thing is maybe be a flexible person. What I mean is a different class. It's also different. I have to use a different method, because different class, different people. I have to be a flexible person. I have to be a creative, use this method in this class, use that method in this class. So yeah, I have to be flexible. Depends on the student that depends on the students that I teach. Sorry. Like the most interesting part of this book is, for me, is the last chapter, the 8th chapter, as I said before. I have taught before in the English course, and I often focus on my own teaching. I often to focus to improving my teaching. Yeah, I forgot I also have to develop teaching methods, because we know that, as this book said, we know that different class also different people, different method that we have to use or anything, and we have to know that. So we have to know this class is effective with this method, that class is effective with that method, or etc. And if we only use one method, it's not effective. So basically, I have to develop method, and yeah, that is the most interesting part of this book, and I was surprised for that. Okay, now what is something new that I learned from this book? And basically, it's kind of the same that I said before. The most interesting part of this book is kind of the same, because I didn't know that before. I didn't know that teaching is also developed is also developing a method. I didn't know that. I often to focus on my own teaching. I often to focus on improving myself on teaching. I didn't know that teaching is also have to develop method or anything, because yeah, different class, different method or anything or etc etc, and I haven't done that. So yeah, that what I learned from this book. Now, how is this book helps me as a future educator, as a future teacher? Okay, basically helps me. This book helps me a lot. Like, I didn't know before that teaching is also developing method. I didn't know that we have to be flexible. I didn't know that we we have to open. We have to reflect our own self. We have to try different method to different class. I didn't know that. And basically, this book helps me a lot about teaching. Because even though I haven't read all of this book, but I have read like half of it, and it helps me a lot. You know, I learned something new from this book, and basically and it just helps me to be a great teacher in the future. And yeah, that's it. I think from this video, because I already mentioned all all that I learned from this book. I already mentioned all that I read from this book. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for listening, and like I said, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.